Okay, good evening, everyone. So in the last session, we have seen how to declare different method signatures, different ways to declare the methods without return type, without parameters, with return type, without parameters, then without return type with parameters. That is the third way. And the fourth way also we have seen with return type and with parameter, how the program we need to declare the methods in this way. As well as we have seen what is the recursive method. In the same example, we have created one method, sum of natural numbers with the normal method with normal program, and we have converted this normal method into recursive method in the same manner. Okay, so the recursive method is the method which calls the itself. Okay, the same method from that method. So that is the recursive method. We have seen all these method declarations in the last session itself. Here we have passed few parameters. That is a single parameter. Okay. Up till now we have passed single parameter. We will see how to pass the arrays to the method, and if we want to pass multiple values to a method, how to do that, that we will see in today's example. Okay, so we will create one class in the same module 8. In this module 8, I am creating a new class. Name of the class I will give array to methods. Okay. Include the main method, finish. Here we will first create one array. You can create any array. I'm going to create double array. Array. Okay, so array you can declare with array mark with data type as well. Okay, then the name of that array also is equals to. Here I'm going to assign the values directly to this particular array. Okay, we will assign the values. Instead of this, I will assign the values. So basically, I am defining the array with some values to it. This is a single dimensional array. Okay, so I have created this double array. अभी तक हमने array string array देखा है, integer array भी देखा है, right? So today we are seeing one double array. Here I have given this array sign with the data type, so you can do this also. I am specifying the hard-coded values, passing the hard-coded values to store into this array. So these are predefined values. You can use user-defined values also by using scanner. Okay, so here I just want to create one method which can be a display method. So I'm creating one display method which is not going to return anything. So I'm giving the data type, return type of that method as void. So I'm not specifying any access specifier to it. That means it is by default, and this will get accessed only within the same package. Okay, because with the default accessibility, you can access the members within the same package. Okay, so here in this void display method, I want to pass this array to this display method. Okay, so how to pass the array? Whenever you want to pass the array, what type of array you want to pass, that you have to mention as a argument. Same as here, we are passing to the main method string array. Okay, and the name of that array. So similar way you have to pass here also. We are using the double data type, so you can pass the double, or you can use, instead of the data type name or primitive type, you can use wrapper class also. double array and the name of that array. So I'm giving here, you can give same name or different name. Okay, so whatever the double type of array we are going to send as a parameter to this method, that will get copied into this array, and we can use this array to perform next action. Okay, so basically we are using this method only for the displaying the array members. So we will use this for loop to display all the array members. System.out.println array of I. Okay, so we are displaying all the array members. Now, this is the method definition we have created to pass the double type of array. Now, how to call this display method by passing this array? Okay, so to do that, we will simply, now this method, display method, is instance method, right? And this method is static main method. So this is nothing but the instance method. Here, if you are creating any variable, so this I variable is local variable. Is local variable. Okay, and if you are giving any variable here to array to methods class, that will become instance variable. Okay, now this main, in the main method, we will call this display method. As this is an instance method, you have to create the object of this class and then call this method. Okay, so we have seen the anonymous call, creation of anonymous objects, right? How to create the anonymous object, because I don't want to store that object anywhere. I don't want to store that instance anywhere. So we will simply use the dynamic way of creating anonymous object. New array, two methods as the name, dot the display method. Now, whenever you want to pass the array, you just have to pass the name of that array to that particular method. Now you can see here, we are getting the error because here is not applicable to the double array because we are using the double wrapper class here. Okay, so if you want to use the same, you can create the double wrapper class here also, or you can change here as it is. Okay, so anyway is possible. यहाँ पे आप दोनों में से कोई भी change कर सकते हो. So I am showing you, basically we have seen the primitive data types creation. So I will show you here, instead of the primitive type, you can create the array of wrapper class also. Okay, so for this I am going to give some point value. Now we are passing these values to this display method. This is the anonymous object creation, calling the method and passing the name of that array. So basically, whenever you are calling this or passing this array, it will pass 0th index value, 0th index address of array. And based on the array length, it will copy all the data into this array, because 0th index address, if we are passing, the data stored into any array is always contiguous, right? So they store into the contiguous memory locations. That's why it is only passing the 0th index value address to this method. And based on the array length, it will automatically take all the data, copy this into the array. Now, this array variable is again the local variable. It is also the local variable. It is only used within this particular block, within this method. You cannot access this array outside of the method. Okay, so this is the array variable, which is local variable. All the data gets copied here into this array. Basically, it is gets copied. It is not only using the array address. Okay, from this address, it will copy all the details into this new array. We will execute this. So you can see we are getting all the data which we have stored into the array. We have displayed the data basically. Okay, nothing else. So you can use the methods to read any elements or to display any elements, to calculate anything, to perform any operation. You can create the methods and you can pass the arrays in this way. Here you can pass the primitive type also. So we will do one primitive example also here. I will create one more integer type of array. I'm specifying the size as 5 and we will save the data. So here I will save the data, which is some random data. Okay, so if you want to use the random, then we will use the random class in the Java. There is a random class in Java. Okay, so it is used to generate the random numbers. Okay, so it creates the new random numbers and it is whatever the value you want to use, you can give that. So here we will use this random class, which is in the java.util class, to generate some random numbers. Okay, so first we have to create object of this random class. So it is java.util.random we are importing. And we will give some range. Okay, so two integers. Okay, only one integer I want to create. Okay, we want to generate the 5 values and store into it. So what we will do, we will use the for loop. We will iterate over this array and we will store the data directly into array1 of ith location and we will generate it. So for generating, we use random dot next int method. Okay, so if you want to give some distributed values between 0 to specified value, then you can use this. Okay, next int with value, or you can simply use the next int method. So it will create it will generate the random number with any range. So basically we are using the integer data type, right? So whatever the range of this integer data type, between that range the value will be generated. So you can see next 2 raised to 32 possible values are there. So we are using this. You can use the other one also to bound it. Okay, so I'm generating random values using the random class in Java. This is used for random generation. Okay, so it will generate the random numbers and store it into array 1. Okay, at the given location, whatever the index value is specified by I variable. Now I want to pass this, or we want to use these lines of code as a method. Okay, because I want to generate the numbers multiple times. So what we will do, we will generate the method using all these lines of code. So the shortcut for this is you can just click or select all the lines, right click, go to the refactor. Then here you can use the extract method. So if you are using the extract method, the method name you have to give is, you can give anything. I am giving the input values. Okay, this is the parameter. So we are going to pass the same array to this parameter. So it will be the method signature will be like this. If you want to remove this private, then you can remove it by using these members. If you are selecting the package, it will be default. If you want to select it protected, you can select it. If you want to use the public, then you can also use it. Now we are using here, this is the static method, but we will change that to normal method, instance method. Okay, so this I have extracted a method. This is the input values method. We are passing this array1 created to this particular method, and this is again we are seeing here the parameter type is integer array. Here we are generating the random numbers and storing into this array one. Now, if I want to return this array, okay, instead of this private static void method, I want to return this array values. Whatever the array is created, I want to return it. So that time I am changing this to private. I am removing the static as well. Okay, this should be the instance method. And now I want to replace this void with a return type should be array. So how to change it to the array? So basically, whatever the input parameter is, you can simply use that same as a return type. Whatever the data values or what type of array you want to return, you just need to use that. Remove the void and okay, so this is nothing but the return type of this input values. Now we want to return that array. So at the end of this method, you can select here. This is the last statement. You can use the return and you just need to use the name of the array as a return name. So again, it will return the 0th index address of the array, which is this array. Okay, this array and this array will be different. The memory locations will be different. Okay, so it will return the 0th index address of this array to the calling method. Okay, so this is a method call. So method call, again, we want to store it. So what we will do, instead of this parameter, okay, okay, no problem. We will keep it as it is. If you want to remove this, you can remove it. So we will use the same ARR1 to store these input values. Okay, so this is input values. We are not able to call directly because this is the method, which is instance method. We have to create the instance of this class. So what we will do, we will use the same methods, anonymous object. Okay, now this anonymous object will call this input values method, pass this array created, sorry, only declared, okay, and it will generate the array with random values and it will return. We are storing that again into this array one. Okay, array one will have the values which are here in this array one. Now you can use iterate over this array one and display all the elements if you want, or you can create the new method also similar to this one. So we will create one more method. Now here I am creating the anonymous object multiple times, right? Display int values is the name of the method which I am passing as array1 parameter. Now this method we have not yet created, so that is why we are able to see here one error, that is this method signature is not found in this class or in this file. Okay, so we have to create it. We can directly create the method. In this way, you can simply select the method creation. Here also the array one is integer type of inputs element. So I will display system.out.println statement, array elements. So I will use random elements. So every time random will generate the different numbers. Okay, in that it will never create or generate the same numbers. It will always generate a different numbers. That means every execution will have a different numbers. We will use for loop or for each loop here to iterate over this array one, and we will use system.out.println statement to display all the elements of this particular array one. Okay. Now we will execute. So you can see these are the random numbers generated. We have not given any range. That is why it is using the range of integer data type itself. Okay, if you want to specify any range, then you can specify that range here into the next int. If I am giving the value as 10, then it will generate the numbers from 0 to 10. Okay, so we will get the values between 0 to 10. So these are the values randomly generated. So in this example, we have seen how to pass or how to create an array with wrapper class, how to pass that array to the method, how to generate the random numbers, how this method returns an array element. Okay, so all these things we have seen in this example. Now here you can see we have used this anonymous object multiple times. So we are using this anonymous objects multiple times. Instead of that, you can directly create one object and you can use that object. So to do that, we will simply use refactor, extract a local variable, or you can use extract constant also, but we will use extract local variable. Same name we will be using. Now we are replacing all the occurrences of this expression. So basically it will get created the object of this array to methods class, and all the occurrences of that new and the constructor calling will get replaced automatically. Okay, so these are the simple techniques you can use for creating the method, extracting a variable, etc. These are shortcut ones. Clear? Any doubt here? Anyone? Anyone has any doubt in this? You can go through this example once. If you have any doubt, you can ask. Within 2 minutes, we will go forward with the next example.
Ma'am, we are creating double array, but again, if you see the display values, the parameter is integer array.
No, display int values is
Display,
different.
okay.
This display method
Okay.
is the double.
Okay.
So we are using the different signatures. We cannot use the same signatures for calling the method.
Correct. So if you are having double array, I can go for double array parameter.
Yes.
Again, integer array parameters.
Yes. So this means
Okay.
it will always have the random, variable length. Basically, it is totally depend on the
Okay.
whatever the array size we are getting as an input to this method. It always depends on that. It is always a variable array, variable size array. It is not
Okay.
specifically bounded to any particular size of the array.
So how many elements we are going to store it accordingly, the size will be added.
Yes, this will be
Okay.
the size of this array will be according to the input array. So if you are passing here, we are passing here input array of size 5. So suppose we are changing it to 50. So this array will be created of 50 size.
Yes, correct.
Okay, understood everyone? Shall we go ahead? So the next way, so it is this method declaration, we have seen the normal primitive types as well as wrapper classes, how to pass the arrays as well. Okay, if you want to pass the multiple numbers to a method, then how to do or how to create a method for that. I'm creating a class named multiple numbers to method, or multiple parameters, basically, not numbers. Include the main method. So basically, if you want to pass the values as an array, you can do that, right? So abhi humne jo dekha, that is the example for passing the array to a method. But suppose you thought that I don't want to create any array, but I want to pass multiple values as a parameter to a method. Then how to do that? So we will create one method, void display. This method will take the inputs as a integer type, or you can use string type. Okay. And the variable name we are going to use as n. So if we are passing string values and one variable name, that means this method will take one parameter as an input. Okay, only one parameter as an input. If you want to pass another parameter, then you have to pass another variable, or you have to create the another variable. So this is string and string s. This method is used to display or anything you want to perform, then you can perform it. I am going to use this method. Okay, I will change the name to concat. Okay. I'm passing two string type of parameters to this. Okay, so here system.out.println concatenated string is equals to, we will simply concatenate using n variable value. We will use plus sign. Okay, s. Okay, so we are simply using this n and s variables to concatenate. You can use remove this also. You can simply concatenate in this way also. If you are using this, the no space will be given. If you want to add the space, you can add it here. Okay, so plus operator is used here for concatenation purpose. Normally जब जैसे भी हम println में करते हैं वैसे ही plus operator is used for concatenation. So here we will call this method concat method, as this is a instance method. We will create the object of this multiple parameters to method. It's equals to new. Okay, and we will call using this object m.concat. Now I have to pass two parameters to this, which is only of string type. Okay, so whatever the type of you are mentioning here, only that type of data you want to pass as a parameter. Okay, so suppose I am giving stu value and another example. Okay, so whenever we are calling this, we will get the concatenated string as the output. And this way. Okay, so we have not specified any space here. That's why it is a single or concatenated text. Now, if you want to pass multiple values without storing it into one array, and which is of only a same type, okay, same type ka hai, but you don't want to create any array, you just want to pass the values, multiple values to the method using a single variable name, then we can perform that operation. So I am going to use the same. I will change concat multiple as the name of the method, and here we need to pass only one variable name, and if you are expecting multiple values as a parameter, then we have to use two dots. Okay, you have to use dot operators, three dots basically, to mention that, or to expect that we are getting multiple values as a input to this particular method. But that is not the array. Okay, it is not array, but it will may take multiple values as a parameter. Now we can use this directly if you want to see number of values is equals to n dot length. You can use, because these values, whenever you are passing the multiple values, internally it will create or store the data as a array itself. Okay. Okay. So whenever you are passing this multiple values, internally it will store it into array. Internally ये array में store करता है. So the signature, whenever you are expecting, जब आप expect कर रहे हो multiple values आपको input आने है इस method को, particular method को, then you have to use these three dots. This should be of same data type. जैसे normally हम array create करते हैं same data type का, वैसे ही यहाँ पे आपको data type same रहना चाहिए, but यहाँ पे एक ही मेथड सिग्नेचर अलग है कि आप यहाँ पे थ्री डॉट दे सकते हो to inform the compiler that we are expecting multiple values, one or more values. It can be one or more values. ठीक है, जब आपको ये पैरामीटर आता है तब इंटरनली वैल्यूज आपके एरे में ही स्टोर होते हैं. दैट इज व्हाई वी आर एबल टू सी दिस और access this length. Okay, that is why we can be able to access this length property of the array. Now अगर आप ये डॉट्स नहीं देते हो तो आपका सिर्फ सिंगल एलिमेंट ही एक्सपेक्टेड होगा. जितने एलिमेंट्स आप दे रहे हो पैरामीटर में कॉमा सेपरेटेड जितने दे रहे हो उतने वैल्यूज ही एक्सपेक्ट रहेगा. इफ यू आर नॉट स्पेसिफाइंग डॉट देन ओनली वन वैल्यू will be inputted. ठीक है, but if you are expecting one or more values, then you can use this syntax. Why we are using this syntax? Because it is not compulsory. If you are specifying two parameters of string type, you have to give two parameters of string type, right? अगर आप array दे रहे हो तो आपको array में values देने compulsory होंगे, right? Array का जो भी size है उसके हिसाब से आपको values देने compulsory होंगे. If you are creating the array of 5 and you are storing 3 values, no problem. But you have to store some values. You have to give multiple values and pass it to the method. But here, if you are expecting one or more values, it can be only one value or it can be multiple values, then we can use this syntax for creation or of the method. ठीक है, so same method में call करती हूँ concat multiple. So here suppose I want to give single parameter, that is also okay. I am giving only one parameter. Same method I can call and pass multiple parameters. तो multiple parameters आपको comma separated देने होंगे. जितने भी number of parameters आप दोगे उतने values आपके यहाँ पे length will be that much. Okay. So I am passing here 4 parameters. ठीक है, अभी यहाँ पे हमने concat create किया था, but we are only able to pass 2 parameters. So with this multiple parameter concept, we can pass multiple values. That is not, there is no limitation to it. ठीक है, but you can only pass single value, 2 values, 3 values, any values based on your requirement. It is not compulsory to create the array and pass it to it. ठीक है, so यहाँ पे internally array ही create होता है. We will execute this example. Now see, this n I have used directly, that is why we are getting the array name id. Okay, but you can see the length of the array. For first number of values are 1 and for second number of values are 4. We are passing 4 parameters. Okay, now to display this concatenated string, as this is array, we have to use iterate over this array. And then we will display that string. Okay, instead of ln, now here I am going to use print because I want to display all the elements should be in a single line. Okay, and this concatenated string should be outside of the for loop. I will remove all these parameters. This also. Okay, so I am only using string variable so that all these should be in a concatenated way. We will execute. So you can see we are getting 4 values. The concatenated string will be like this without any spaces, and we are using print method. That's why we are getting the output of all the iterations in a single line. Okay, so this is number of values are 4. We are passing 4 values and the concatenated string for second parameter. Why we are not getting anything? Okay, for first we are not getting anything. For single parameter, okay, it was here. After for loop, I will simply use one line system.out.println statement so that new output will become on the next line. Okay, so this was the first parameter, single parameter, and this is the 4 parameters we have passed, and this is the output of this class. Okay, so this is the example where you can pass the multiple parameters to any method. I have used a string type. You can create anyone. Okay, integer also. And we will see one more method which may take multiple types of parameters. That means we will use one method, suppose display method, which takes one double parameter, one integer parameter, and one string parameter, one character parameter. Okay, so you can create a method in this way also, which will take multiple parameters. While calling this method, display method, it is important that you should use the same sequence to call it. Okay, so the first parameter value should be of double type. Second parameter value should be of integer type. Third parameter value should be of string type. And fourth parameter value should be of character type. Character will always be in the single. Okay, so while calling different types of parameter, if the method have the different types of parameter, अगर method में different types of parameters है, तो आपको सीक्वेंस बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता है जब ये मेथड आप कॉल करते हो. अगर सीक्वेंस गड़बड़ हो जाएगा तो आपका मेथड कॉल नहीं होगा, आपको एरर आएगा. इफ आई change this to instead of character, if I change it to string, then it will give you error. ठीक है, because the last parameter is not of string type. Argument should match with the method signature, that is character. ठीक है, तो ये आपका अगर डिफरेंट टाइप के पैरामीटर्स होंगे आपके मेथड में तो आपको इस तरीके से कॉल करना होता है मेथड को. आई एम सिंपली डिस्प्लेइंग द डेटा स्पेस I space s variable value space and C variable value. ठीक है? So I'm simply displaying the data, nothing else. We have called this method display method with all the passing values. So in this way, we will get it. So this value will get stored where the memory is allocated for this double D. That place, उस जगह पे आपका उस एड्रेस पे ये वैल्यू स्टोर होगा. जब आप ये 17 वैल्यू पास करते हो, दैट मीन्स जो इंटीजर आई वेरिएबल के लिए वैल्यू एड्रेस होगा जहाँ पे मेमोरी एलोकेशन हुई है, वहां पे ये वैल्यू स्टोर होगा. स्ट्रिंग के लिए एस वेरिएबल के लिए जहाँ पे मेमोरी एलोकेशन हुई है वहां पे ये वैल्यू जाके स्टोर होगा. ओके, सो दिस method calls, whatever the method calls we have seen, all these method calls are known as call by value. Okay, all these method calls are known as call by value because we are passing actual values to a method call. ठीक है, मेथड कॉल को हम एक्चुअल वैल्यूज पास कर रहे हैं. ये वैल्यूज है. यू कैन यूज द यूजर इनपुट्स ऑल्सो, बट दैट इज ऑल्सो स्टोर इन टू वन वेरिएबल एंड यू विल पास दैट वेरिएबल हियर. तो एक्चुअल में आप यहाँ पे वैल्यूज ही पास कर रहे हो. ये हार्ड कोडेड वैल्यूज है, ये हार्ड कोडेड वैल्यूज है. आप अगर यूजर इनपुट भी लेते हो तो वो वैल्यूज आपके यहाँ पे कॉल बाय वैल्यू ही रहेंगी. क्यों? बिकॉज वी आर पासिंग द वैल्यू एंड दोज गेट कॉपीड हियर इनटू द another variable which is local variable for the method you have defined. ठीक है, ये मेथड का जो भी डेफिनेशन है उसके लिए ये वेरिएबल्स जो है वो लोकल वेरिएबल रहेंगे एंड इसके लिए मेथड सिग्नेचर के हिसाब से मेथड के लिए मेमोरी एलोकेशन डिफरेंट होता है. राइट, तो ये हर एक वेरिएबल के लिए मेमोरी एलोकेशन डिफरेंट होगा. इसमें वेरिएबल्स के लिए मेमोरी एलोकेशन डिफरेंट होगा. तो सपोज मैं इसको चेंज करती हूँ. आई विल एक्सट्रैक्ट अ वेरिएबल, लोकल वेरिएबल एस. ठीक है, सो एवरीवेयर वेर एवर आई वॉज यूजिंग दिस टू वैल्यू, वहां पे मैंने सब जगह पे एस वेरिएबल को पास किया है. तो इस एस वेरिएबल को we are storing the value into s variable and we are passing it. So this s variable value के लिए जो मेमोरी एलोकेशन हुआ है that is different and ये जो जहाँ पे जिस मेथड को हम कॉल कर रहे हैं उसमें जो इनपुट पैरामीटर्स है उसके लिए मेमोरी एलोकेशन अलग होता है. So this is nothing but we are copying सेम डेटा मल्टीपल टाइम्स. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे कॉपी होता है डेटा. जब भी आप कॉल बाय वैल्यू करते हो तो डेटा कॉपी होता है. ठीक है, अंडरस्टूड? हाउ, any doubt how to pass the multiple values to the as a parameter to a method? Spelling mistake हुआ है, so I am changing here using the refactor. I will rename the class name also. So whenever you are renaming a class name, your compilation unit will also change. That means this .java file as well as its corresponding .class file name should also change. That's why don't directly change it here. If you want to change the name, just right click, go to the refactor and then use the rename. Okay, to rename the name of this particular class so that all the changes will get reflected to the .class file as well. We will re-execute this one more time. So you can see the first method. This is the multiple parameter method. This is again the multiple parameter method. And this is different types of method. So here different parameter types हमने दिए हैं. You can use here so here this variable argument must not be the we cannot use in this way because this should be the last parameter. ठीक है, so अगर आपको इस तरीके से multiple values देने हैं so that you are expecting the string type of multiple values, then you cannot use in this way. अगर आपको यहाँ पे character type के multiple values expected है, you can use it because this is the last parameter. So if in this way अगर आपको कभी भी एक्सपेक्टेड है कि मल्टीपल वैल्यूज आपको एक्सपेक्टेड है एनी डेटा टाइप के, तो दैट शुड बी द लास्ट आर्ग्यूमेंट और पैरामीटर ऑफ द मेथड सिग्नेचर, ठीक है। वो लास्ट में होना चाहिए, अगर ये बीच में आप दोगे तो वो नहीं लेगा एज ए इनपुट. You can use this syntax also or this syntax also. You can pass multiple character values here because we are using. Now the C will have the multiple values. So again, C is nothing but the array. So you can iterate over this C variable to display the values of character. System.out.println C of J. Okay, so all the characters we will be able to see X, Y, Z. ठीक है, तो जब भी आपको मल्टीपल पैरामीटर्स एंड सिंगल पैरामीटर्स ऑफ डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑल्सो कंबाइन करने हैं तो आप इस तरीके से कंबाइन कर सकते हो. मेथड सिग्नेचर विल बी लाइक दिस. ओनली द थिंग इज मेक श्योर दैट जिसमें मल्टीपल एक्सपेक्टेड है दैट शुड बी द लास्ट आर्ग्यूमेंट और लास्ट पैरामीटर. क्लियर? Any doubt? You can go through this example. We have seen the what is called by value also, and we are going to see what is called by reference in the next example. Once you understand this, we will continue with the next example called by reference. ये समझ में आ गया है तो बताओ, अगर कोई डाउट है तो पूछ लो. Go through this example once.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you, but our next session will be start from 6 p.m. So please wind up the session on time, okay?
Okay, okay, sure.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any doubt, anyone? Understood how to pass multiple parameters to a method and how to use, how to iterate over those values?
The main thing we have to remember is we cannot give it as a first parameter or the second parameter. This should be as the last one, right?
If
As
there
we
are
are
different types of parameters you are expecting to a method. If
oh,
that is a
okay.
only single parameter you are expecting, then there is no need. That is the only
Okay.
single parameter, right? So if your method has different types of parameters and then the multiple values of any particular data type, then that data type variable should be at the last argument.
Okay, so suppose in this concat multiple itself, if I'm giving string dot 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 n, okay, comma string s1 comma string s2.
Yes.
So we can give it like that if the
Yes.
data type is same.
No, that will not be the case. You can try it directly here. You cannot give in this way.
Okay. So this should be the last parameter within the function.
Yes.
Okay.
So here for N and C, we are getting error because this we will not be able to, the compiler will not understand this will also have the multiple values. Why? That also I will explain. Because whenever this multiple parameters you are expecting or you are passing, that means it will be creating the array, right, of variable size or variable length. So the data whenever you are passing according to the parameters, okay, if you are passing multiple values in between, then the compiler will not understand how much or how many size of array it should create, right? अगर वो लास्ट में है तो वो कंपाइलर का समझ में आएगा अकॉर्डिंग टू द वैल्यूज कि उसको कितने साइज का डेटा और कितने साइज का एरे क्रिएट करना है. इन बिटवीन रहेगा तो समझ में नहीं आएगा कि कितने साइज का एरे क्रिएट करना है, क्योंकि वो you can give one value also, you can give two value also or 10 value also, right, in between. So that at that time compiler will not understand कि कितने टाइप का साइज का मुझे डेटा क्रिएट करना है, एरे क्रिएट करना है. That is why it is always expecting the last argument. Understood?
Okay, like you have taken void display down. There is a function double D int I down string s and
Yes.
character dot dot c. So for
Yes.
this, it will take x, y, z, all the three things separately because
Yes.
these are mentioned at the end.
Yes.
So can I mention these X, Y, Z at the starting point? And can I mention the same thing, character dot 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 C before double D?
No.
No,
We will
okay.
try, but no, because
Okay.
it will not understand. So I'm changing the name to C1. So it will not
Mhm.
take the parameter, first parameter as a variable length. Variable length
Okay.
parameter always should be the last parameter. Because at the start, that what I explained, at the start, compiler will not understand how many values you are
You're going to enter
going to
it.
give as an input, and I
Okay.
should, the compiler should create the array of which size.
Hmm.
If that is at the end, it will understand, it will always take at the end of the input, that is the new line character. Okay, we are considering new line character as the end of the input. So it will read all the values till the new line character, and it will consider tokenize these values and consider calculate the length of it. So we have seen here the length, right? So we are
Okay.
getting the length of that array. How? Based on the values you are giving. So here new values we are passing with the double quotes, right? So एक string
String
token
array.
we are
Correct.
using the tokenization of string and storing it into different locations. So it will understand that once your pass ended, the new line character is there at the end. That means you are completed your input, and we can create the size of the array should be 4. Okay, but in between, if you're passing the values which is of variable size, the compiler will not understand how many characters we are expecting or how many array size we should give. Okay.
Okay, so in concat multiple, we have given string dot 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 n. Okay, so that means yes, technologies, Java, and course. These
Yes.
all 4 strings will be sent.
Yes.
Okay, if suppose yes is there in different data type, again then this function will not entertain.
No, because the
Okay,
signature should match. Whenever
but
you're,
we are sending technologies, Java, and course. These 3 strings, right?
it will work for these 3 strings.
3 strings. Okay.
But if
Yes,
you are
suppose if it
changing,
is a different data type, it will not work.
yes, if the
Okay.
S is of different data type, then it will not work. Suppose instead of S, I am giving some value, then it will not work. But if you
Okay.
want to give the value and that is inside the double quotes, that will be considered as string, one string itself. It will work for this concat multiple. ठीक है,
Okay.
तो अगर कोई भी वैल्यू आप डबल कोट्स में देते हो, that value is considered as
Correct. It's not a string.
string
Correct.
itself.
Correct. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so
Fine.
instead of, if you are giving the value in double quotes, this is string, then this method will work.
Yes.
Instead of, if I'm removing this quotes, then it will
Error.
not work.
Error.
It will give you the calling error because
Okay.
the signature should match while calling the method. That is what I have expected. I explained here also. The sequence matters. Whenever you are passing the values, you should give the first data type should be double, second data value should be integer type, third should be string type. Okay, you cannot change the sequence while calling a method.
Okay.
Clear, everyone?
Yes.
Any doubt?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So with this example itself, we will end our session as there is another session at 6 o'clock. So if anyone has any doubt in this today's examples, method, array to methods and multiple parameters to a method, call by value, then you can ask in the tomorrow's session. Tomorrow we will see call by reference example, and then we are going to see the next part, that is method overloading. Anyone have any doubt?
No, ma'am.
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone. You may leave. Thank you, sir.
Thank
You
you,
may
ma'am.
end the session. Thank you.
Thank you.